Testing, God is good. Wow, 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 wow. So still, we're just waiting for just some people to be just to be joining this, and then we proceed. It's going to be amazing here. It's going to be amazing, amazing, amazing. I tell you. What do you see? What we have? Wow. This is great. This is amazing. This is amazing. So if you're joining us here, let me just know who is here. So we start this conversation to proceed. I remember too well actually sharing about what you see on the screen. Let me just show you the Nasdaq. We shared this some months ago, and you can see a very nice progress for the Nasdaq. That is what has actually been happening. If you missed these lives that you have been doing here, I think you have been missing a lot. You have been missing what we call a lot, because that is where we actually started. Like, we just analyzed these things and we said the Nasdaq is going to hit all new time high. But I was not expecting the Nasdaq actually to hit that big, like to hit of 29,000, almost to 30,000 in that shortest time that we actually been observing the Nasdaq, maybe with less than 2 months. That is crazy. That is crazy. That is one of the things that I've really observed in the market. Very crazy. But of course, you should not be surprised by these things, because that is what has actually been happening. The gold is doing its thing. That is what is really happening here. Gold is doing magic. Price is 45.24. We might actually be analyzing it and see what we might be getting from this. Yeah. So the Israel US Iran war is not yet over. We'll be checking on what is happening, because that is the most important thing that we can really follow up. The last time we were live here, I gave you some mini assignment for you now to just follow up. This time we are going to be doing this live stream until the end of June. So the whole of June, that is June, we are going also to proceed with the live stream. So we are just going to be building the live stream right now. That is from 26th, this is 26th, until to the end of this month. And then afresh, we are still going to resume on the June live stream. We're going to be doing it crazy, analyzing crazy, and also trading and receiving free educations right here for free. That is what you're going to be doing here. There's amazing things that we have been doing, and I think also this season is going to be giving us a better best thing that you're really going to have. So you don't want to miss this, because this is great. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be, I don't know, but this is really going to be another amazing live stream that you're really going to have. If possible, we are going to be doing it every single day from 12 noon. Sometimes the London session is good. The London session open, we can actually start from let's say from 10, but you know, some people are really working, and we normally have problem with morning hours. So the reason 12 noon is really good, the market will have priced in, and we will not have missed anything. But for us now to have good entry, sometimes London session between 10 and 1, that is most of the time that I normally consider for me now to have, at least, you know, to look for good entry before the noon. I always make sure that at least I have known where the market is really moving, because of course that is a midday, and it's almost a half of the trading index. So you just need to know, unless maybe there is a breaking news that is you're waiting. Number two, unless maybe there is economic news on the calendar that you're waiting, may it be PPI, CPI, NFP, that can actually prompt us maybe to postpone that and not other. So between the 10 a.m. and 12 this time, we're going to be finding the good entries, and maybe when we'll be going live, maybe let's say around 11 a.m. that is the time now we are going to be looking. I'm actually going to be coming up with the direct, because I'll be observing the market from morning, and at that time we're going to have a signal around that area. and then from there, then after entering a signal, we can just still follow up on the market. After following up on the market, then we can still continue learning as the market proceeds. That is what I normally do when I wake up every day in the morning. What I normally do is I just wait for the market. I analyze the market. If there is an entry, I have entered. Then the rest I'm just learning, just doing some other things that are not actually trading, because once you actually overtrend or maybe look for many entries, then of course you're going to lose it, and that is one of the things that I normally try to avoid all the time. Many things. I'm very excited actually. Woo. Yes, that is what we have. I'm just giving you a summary of what you're going to be doing this month. Last time I know and so many people are actually making sure that they join every single day. I'm going to make sure that at least once we start this, we're going to end it all of it, because I know there are so many people who have been benefiting from this. But trust me, doing live stream every single day is not cheap. Number one, doing live stream every day is expensive. It's really good because I really just enjoying this to see other people benefiting from my entries. So one thing that you can just do, because I'm not charging this, and there's nothing that's actually get charged for doing this. It's actually on my own cost. But one just thing what you can just do is to make sure that you subscribe and like my videos once I'm live. The only thing that actually can just benefit me from YouTube is actually when I leave this video, because when I'm live like this, I don't put ads. I normally switch monetization off so that you cannot experience these ads, because I really want you to get live update of this market. So that is what I do. I switch them off so that we can actually have this an amazing experience. There are a lot of things that we're really going to learn this season. This is season 2. Season 2, I think last month, but I think it was last month, but we were learning about volumes and sort of things, because we analyzing using the volume profile. We used footprints. That is what we are using. But the other one, I think there's so many systems that we'll be doing. The last one we started, basics, trending using basics. We advanced it, but this one we are going to even more fiery. So you just need to make sure that you are out of beginner's course, and this is really going to be tough. Like, things are really going to be amazing here. You're going to learn different things as you analyze the market. So we are going to approach market and different. That's why you see now this is when I just decided to add all these monitors. This is not a decoration. This is what you are going to use to learn here. So because I have a lot of things to show you on how this market is just really moving here. If you can follow me on TikTok, you realize that we have so many pending classes, like because some of these things you cannot post on TikTok. Some just one point I need like 1 hour to just explain it in a very simple way that you can. Yeah, so definitely that is what we're going to do. So apologies for that. I was checking on something. I think so let's just check something before we just wind up this as we now try now to beyond this season, almost I think almost like this season 5, because we started live streaming all the way back to 2020. So let's see what we have here. So let's see what we are really focusing on. You want us to check gold. Let's see what we have on the gold. Just simple. I want us to check this in a very simple analysis. I don't want to have complicated things today. Just simple. Then we actually proceed later. Then maybe tomorrow we are going to have an advanced data on this. Maybe tomorrow we be having an advanced to check on different things. So allow me to check on this, what we have for the gold. What do we have for the gold? So you always know that you normally start with the highest time frame, because that is one of our strategy that I normally use, is known as time frame alignment. You know how to analyze the time frame, what the highest time frame gives you, and all the way to the entry that you really need. There are some people who normally analyze the 5-minute time frame. Make sure that you avoid that, because you're going to be getting a very high noise. Like you're going to get bigger noise when you're analyzing the market on the highest, on the lowest time frame. So what do we have here? So on checking gold on daily time frame, that is what you have. And actually I know where the gold is going, because I've already analyzed it. I've been following it since yesterday on different things that I'll be sharing later on how the gold has actually been performing. But this is simple. This is what just happened to the price of gold. Let's just start from the scratch, because this is really very important. We can just say it's just the same thing, because you know, of course, anytime we've been analyzing gold, most of it, I think almost 90% has actually been so accurate. So relax. Let's see what we just have here. So if I just look on the gold right here, I see the market on the highest time frame that's trying to move up but failed. Like this is a market that's trying to move and create another high, but this high actually failed around 55, almost to hit 5,600, and that is where this market failed. And that is really crazy on what is actually happened to the price of gold. So this is a market that all went all the way high, and actually if you notice the RSI, you realize this is extreme overbought zone, and that's why you can see now the traders were exhausted at those areas. That's why you can see now this market boom, like a crash that really happened. After that, the market really failed even to move and create new high, because I know there are some people who started buying this because they were expecting this market is now going to proceed to create a new high. So that is now the problem that we really got from gold on that area. And now we end up getting another low that actually we got from this market, which is actually ended even to create even a lower price, which is below even 44. So that is crazy on what really transpired into this. I know we can actually be waiting for this market to even move all the way up just like that, but you cannot really ignore this, because number one, if you look at this market carefully, there's two things that really happened, that if you are trading on the gold, you need to observe this on the highest time frame, regardless whether you are day trader, swing trader. These are things that are very important once you see, and that's why you don't need to ignore. If you ignore, I always say that ignore highest time frame at your own risk. Kitakuramba baya sana. So number one, we mark this. This is technical analysis. We are going to see others in case maybe we have to. So that is what's really happened. We need to move until we move to the current price to that we can see what we have. So number one, this market was actually to trend here. So for a smart person, when this market touched this area here, you couldn't have actually closed those prices, because of course, you know, this market and to test those area again, and that is actually what happened. The next case, we have two things that I normally trend on my strategy. I can trend trend lines, double tops, and also the high where the market tests the previous high, like support becoming the resistance, and that actually works so much, especially if the market and creating volume gap at those areas. So that really works so much if you really check the market just like that. For example, when this market was moving up, the most interesting area that was actually to just happen is actually, for example, this correction. You see this area here, you're going to see it more on the highest time frame, this area here. So if you take a Fibonacci retracement all the way from 40, this high here, drag it all the way down here, you're going to see at least this area lies between 50 and, you know, a good area where the market can actually go back to. That is what really happened. So those are the most important areas that you can really check so much. All right, those are the areas that you need to check when you analyzing these. Now let's proceed on this. Forget about the camera, I'll be sorting that out later. So this is what really happened to the price of the gold, and the market just went all the way up. Now you need to mark this, because now this market is moving up, just down like this. A market that moved out, is it done? Are we done up or are we done down? Because that is the most important thing. Look at this, look at that one. So connecting 2 points with the trend line is not valid. If you're doing that, then I know you are doing it so wrong. So if you're doing that, you're doing it so wrong, and I know umekosea. So forget about what I'm just doing here. We are just trying to see, because this market is doing its things here, and this sounds crazy, and this is what just happening to this market. What's the future of this gold that is moving just like this in a very crazy way? Now after this market touched this area, because we are coming it from, this is our interest area, you cannot just start analyzing the current market. You need to move with it. We need to move with it, and that's what we are doing here. Now this is how the market moved. Remember, this market failed this. Now the other question that you should ask yourself is this market really on the trend? Because if you take it like this, are you really going to get the same thing? Let's see. Is this how really this market is moving? Because this is very important to note as well. Because if this market is going to be moving like this one, if these points are connected, remember these are parallel line, and you know parallel line are very accurate, and that's how this market is indeed moving. So look at that, look at this, look at this. You cannot tell me, you cannot ignore this at all costs, but you can see it. Can you see that? You cannot ignore this at all costs. You cannot ignore this. Now look at this. I'm just simplifying these things, and we are not using complicated things. It's just observing, and that is how the market moves actually. Not so much things, but we are going even to move deeper, because this is just observation that we are doing. We are just asking ourselves questions when we are analyzing this price of gold. Right? So for those who have been analyzing and think it is difficult, maybe you can see things like this happening. So if you take this one touch one and touches this one, if it touches this one, becomes valid. If it moves this way, then that is good. And now there's a good thing that's happening here, because at this level here, if I take the Fibonacci retracement, let's see, because from this area here all the way, then you are going to realize this is between the 4740 and this region here. This is of course where you expect the market to test, because this is between 61 and 50. Between that is actually where I normally focus on 50, and that region becomes a very key important zone when it comes to my strategy. But when I'm checking on that, I always consider as well, was there, if this is going to be a resistance here, because that if the market is going to move up like this on my zone, which is 61 and 0.5, then I need to check also not just that region. On the previous market move, I also need to check what happened to this market. Was there any support line? And that is the most important thing. I need to check, was there any support, and that's why you see this was very important, and that's why this region mattered a lot. Was a good case for those who actually short this market at this region. If we actually proceed even to go to the volumes, because I know we're going to be moving there, because whatever you are saying here, then of course post specification and sniper entry, then of course we can move to the volume. This is just an observation that we are doing so that we can just move in details of this. Now look at that. That is just simple, but you can see how this market is really showing you on how it really can move just like that. But this region, now look, because we are here, we are still going to move all the way to this area here so that we can see how this market is moving. Now after this market moved all the way to this area here, I know many of us were expecting at least we touch these areas. Maybe it was supposed to be 39 on below 4,000, then we move all the way to the top, all the way above there. Did that really happen? That did not happen, and that's how you see this market. So some people may say that this market is ranging, but I don't see the market as ranging unless maybe we move to unless maybe if we are going to move to the other thing, which is very important, like 4-hour time frame, so that we can just see this. But I just wanted to drive this area here. Now we understand this, and that, and this region here. So the most important part is the remaining one here, so that we can just know the future of this market that is just moving just like this, and then you just give me your opinion, and probably this is going to prompt us now to move all the way to other time frames. Now let's see whether we can just get something on the daily time frame before we switch, because when it comes to this market now moving just like this around this area here, we need perception, and then after that we switch to the lowest time frame so that we can check the pattern so well, because you're not going to see clear pattern when you're actually using the daily time frame. So what do I see? What do I see from this market is, of course, after testing this region, this market moved all the way around this area here, and this tells you one thing. There's something about this zone here. There's something about this zone. There's something crazy about this zone here. Number one, there's something about this zone, and that actually should trigger something new here. Look at that. Let's draw this zone, because this is very important, because you cannot ignore this. Market tested this, and of course there was a market that's already ranging again across this area here, and that is why we got this market booming again from this area here, moved so fast and then moved up. So look at that. Can you really ignore that zone? You can't ignore that. That is what we need to understand. So we are still driving this so that you can see what we have. I already analyzed this, so we are just repeating so that you can see what we have, from this market. All right. So now you see now the market actually trying to touch this region, and you can see across this area here, the market also trying this area again. That's why this region is very important. But you can see this market as really attempting to move all the way up, all the way down. Now there's something that is actually might be happening to the price of this price of gold anytime, and that is why now we are going to now have to have this clear things to see how this market has actually been performing. Allow me now, after drawing this, we switch to all the way to 4-hour time frame. When we switch all the way to the 4-hour time frame, now that is what we say. This is a market that moved, touched all the way down, moved again this pattern, and crossed this area here again. Again, look at this. If you take if you're going to take let's take Fibonacci retracement again from the top here all the way down, you realize again across this area here, that is where we are. That is the zone. This is crazy sometimes. Okay, but remember what we said. If you're focusing on this, then of course you need a region that has maybe a support. Of course you're going to see that happening. Like for example, this market has been moving up like this across or maybe near that region. Do we have where the market was actually trading like support like this one? You see, this was actually the support that we are talking about. So is about this zone that we are talking about here. Yep. And that's actually, this is now what we call now, like, look at this. For example, this is a type of candle here. This is what we now call the liquidity sweep. Boom, you get swept, and then the market just repasses and then moves all the way down from here. Now look at that. After this market moved all the way down, after touching this, then we get this market coming to this region again. Now the most important thing that I'm really checking here is this region here, which is very important, and I think this market might try to come to this zone as we speak right now, maybe towards the end of it, and that is this region here, before the market now tends to move down. You see this region here, you see this, when gold actually touches around 46, 48, 46.50, around 46.50. But you know what can actually let's even move in further. I would like to even know, so that we'd like to know more about this. Would like us to know more about this, so we can move in details. So we proceed on this. So this is just one thing that we are doing, because we're going to do more and more. So let's keep going on to details of this. So because this market has already touched this one on the 4-hour time frame, this is likelihood of what can actually transfer to this market. This, after now moving all the way down like this, touched all the way down here, this market, so nice, created another high here, and like this one. So current price of what you just expect from this, let's move to 1-hour time frame so that I can show you something of what can happen to this market now. Because now remember, this is another interesting zone that we have, and remember also there is a likelihood for this market to move down. So my highest price, like let's say in 3 to 4 days, or maybe the entire week, this market can come here, and once this market comes to 46.40, I'm going to exit this market until maybe this market comes all the way down. But this is what can just happen to this market. If you draw a trend line as well from this market on the lowest time frame, this is what you see. This is what you try to get, something just like that. That's how the market is trying to move. And after moving, so do we have like buy or sell around here, which actually more favorable here? Because you can see how this market is really moving. Is the market is really moving up. You need to move up with the trend. Look at that. Look at that. So what I can just expect from this market is to touch this. Remember the reason we said about this. So remember this touching point. Remember this so well, and why we talked about this zone here, because of this area here, and as well because of this movement, because of Fibonacci retracement, number one, and also because of this region here. So that is what we really, because look at this. Let me just even draw this again here so that you can see. You can see the 50 and 60 is actually around this area here, and I'm going to focus on here because at least that is where I have just approved, and not only focusing on Fibonacci retracement on those areas. So this is the area that I'm expecting for the gold to move next after this. All right, so that is technically that is what we see from this market. But you can see the market is really trying, but because the market is really down, this region really matters a lot. Now let's move more, because that is what we really have. Should you proceed to like buy from this market? Because I know there are so many people will be proceeding to buy from this market. If I just check also on the lowest time frame, you see this market is already tired, and that's how the market is really moving. That is why the market is moving, but moving to where? If you are going to buy, then make sure that at least you focus all the way to this area here. Now look at that. This is what I expect. I expect this market to move, but of course, because there's been a high rejection, the rejection can actually happen at 45.76. Highly likely 46, this market can actually be rejected around 45, because of course there is rejection here that is happening to this market. Let's switch to 4-hour time frame so that we can check on volume wise. Actually not even 4-hour time frame, I'm going to 1-hour time frame so that we can check volume wise what we have. And in this case, we are checking on I'm going to check on futures, but okay, let's see from COMEX. I want to see gold on the COMEX, or they just not move. Let me just check this from a different broker that is going to help. Let me check on the CME gold. This is serious. 45.23. all right, now remember those zones that we can actually even go back to the gold that we have been talking about. There's no way. Okay, no way of going back. So this is what you're going, the continuous one. So this is what you can actually have. I'm going to remember the zone that we're talking about, 46.50. This area here, that is what we are talking about, a probability for this area here. Now what you're going to notice is that between this zone here, after this breakout all the way to this area here, 45.83, that you're going to see maybe a lower volume on that side. So if I put a volume profile that is going to run all the way, we can even start from the top here all the way to the current price, and that is what you really notice. This area here is that around this area here that I was speaking, you're seeing low volume, and that is what we call now the low volume nodes. In those areas that you see the market booming here and the market booming here, those are not the areas that you expect me to put the stop loss, you expect me to put the TP. Of course I need to put it at the top, exactly like this price here, where we are starting with 5k here, but look at the 3k, 2k, but at least here at 8k. This is another area that we are interested in, that is really happening to this market. So now you see this, that's why we are pushing our prices all the way to 46 something here at the top. That is another area that we really interested on. Now to simplify this, all these things, we just simplify all these things. This is what I was saying, because there are also another information that I want to share, but maybe to simplify all this, a simple strategy of what is really happening to this market. That is what I see. That is what we just have from this market. Is a market that is really trying, and I think we are almost ending to the top here before now we reverse. But long term, I expect gold to maybe keep selling and moving all the way down, as we've seen on the highest time frame, like daily time frame. I'm just expecting this price probably around 46, maybe there, And then long term, we might be getting another one touching this area here, the market proceeding to move down, and the likelihood is absolutely below 4,000. Anytime gold might actually be touching this all the way here. But after that after that, actually, when we achieve this target here and we come back here, maybe next year, gold is actually, as gold has these things of long term, is really going to achieve great result. But I think there might be another collapse according to what the technical analysis we're really getting here. There might be another collapse before now the market booms all the way up. Let me show you something very interesting on what I'm talking about. Let me show you another something interesting here. So what we are saying is that likelihood for them going to hit 46.60, and then that is going to be it. Like, now you can be expecting the market to sell from there. You don't expect the market to buy all the way from that area. I really fear so much. So let's see what we have. I want to let me show you something here. Sheila Wairimu, I'm new here. Welcome, Sheila. I don't know whether you're still here, but welcome so much. Karibu sana. We are going to be live here. We're just building this. So if you're joining us for the first time, ensure that you follow us. Okay, buy strike. If you look at the best areas that you need to be interested in are those areas for the gold right now. I know this sounds crazy, but it's really simple. So allow me to put it in a very simple way. So Sonia Akinyi, hey, how are you doing? How Tech Gaming Trailer, hello, how are you doing? I see you. Okay, now look at this. This is what I'm interested in. I will be explaining to you what it is. I'm explaining it to you. So if you look at options, is that so many people are betting that the market, the gold, is actually going to buy long term, and that's where you see here we have cost. Those, to make it simple, is like, positivity towards gold on buying. 536 contract, 795 over 275. You can see that almost a half of these is almost 2 times the put. That the calls. That means there are so many people who are actually predicting that the price of gold is actually going to be hitting higher. And if you look at the price of gold right now at 45.23, you see this is 45.72, and this is what we call that is the underlying price where this market, in case you see the market is all the way far to those areas, then this is the most interesting part. The other interesting part that you need to be interested in, as the market, let me see, actually this is very important, as gold actually touched 4,500, because that is the area that you need to right now. You see 4,500, this 45 here, you need to draw 45. You see 4,500 is the most interesting part. That is what many institutions are, because that is where you're going to see, you're seeing a lot of high contract placed there. And one contract is absolutely 100 ounces of gold. So if they just want to put this in a simple language, that means that we have so many institutions, we have big guys interested in gold at around 4,500, and don't mean that it's going to buy at that area, but that is the key point. If you are drawing support or resistance on that, then you should include that. The other area that we saw is around 46. Remember 46.50. You see this 46.50. I want you to look at this carefully. Look at this. This is 46.50. 4650 on our assigned, this is what we talked about. If you move to 1 hour time frame, you remember this 4550. So there is another confirmation that the 4550 that I'm talking about here, it matters a lot. If you really don't want to ignore this 4550, don't ignore the 4550 that I'm talking about. This 4550, this area here, you see that area that we talked about. Don't ignore that. Make sure that you check that well. The other area that we are interested in is 45. All right, so why is 45? Because that is where we have so many people interested in. So now this is what can happen to this market, because we have seen already, observe this. Yes, this is how the market is moving. This is how the market is moving, and we're saying we are interested in this area. But so many people, what they do, they just come over here and buy across this area here, waiting for this price, and they put their stop loss slightly maybe at this area here. What the market does is comes and hit all their stop losses and continue moving all the way up. But that is now what we call the liquidity sweep. Now, to avoid this is the kind of information that you really need here to avoid such areas, because around 45 here you can see high Hondas are really taking place here. A lot of activity are really going to be taking here. So when we talk about 45.23, like here, less activity taking place, and if it's just showing you the trend lines for the buy, then don't be quick to buy from that area. Of course, extend yours all the way to where big institutions are interested. And if I were you, I'm going to observe so well on how the price is going to really do around 4,500, and now that is going to be, because of course you can see high volume. I've been taking there is higher volume here, of course, and to avoid that you just put it around here. So you see this is 45, this is 45 actually, and that means now this probability for those who bought around that area here, because they saw a trend line just like this, the market sweeps them. And what normally happens to such cases, the market comes very fast, swipes all their stop losses, and then moves up. And then you start wondering and asking questions. What happened? Why did the market do that? That is what happened, and you cannot do anything about it. So this is a good area, and if I'm going to buy from this area, of course I'm going to be targeting all the way up there. And of course my stop loss is going to be here, because at least now you can see, number one, we have buys here, we have so many big orders here, and across this area here, at least, although we have sell orders, at least we have now another order to support this, meaning this of course can become a support, and that is area 44.98. This is 44.98, this is 45. This order, as you can see here, 38,000, okay, that 8k. So those are some of things that you really need to observe. Those are some of things that you need to observe. Yes, this area, the market is moving like this, but now remember liquidity sweep that can happen to the market. And remember, big institution interest around 45. Remember, our TP is located around here, this area here, 46.50, and that's how you can see this market is just like that. If you look at the bet, you realize that people are betting the market might actually be moving up. But of course, we have another risk here of 4,005, which is around 400, which actually interpreted to the same thing that really show across on the highest time frame. I don't want to confuse you, but make sure that you really follow what I'm saying, because long term is can affect you dangerously. Remember, long term around here, when we talked about around 4,000, this area here, this area here again, those are some of the things that you need to put down, you need to understand. Those are some of things that you need to write down, because kinaweza kuramba vibaya sana. Carlos, you are not late, but at least now we are finished. Someone just asked me on the ground. That's some of things that you need to check. Institution, volume, and actually we have not even checked on the fundamental analysis. If you just combined on that, then you hit the stop loss. At least now you are confident to know, I check this, I check that, I check this, and if the market just decided to acha stop loss, then of course it is just fine, right? It's just fine, because at least you tried. Yeah, 1 minute, let me show you something else. Yes, sir. Yeah, so that is what we're really getting here. Let me show you something. Yeah, so the price is really moving to 45.17. Make sure that you mark those areas. Mark them. Mark those areas right now. Mark those areas right now, or maybe you're going to just miss this. You're going to just miss this. So that is the long-term goal that you have been focusing on. Remember, 4,000, maybe long-term around this area here, 39.40. The market actually can all the way go to this area here, highly likely, because of what we are getting from this area. And make sure that you actually follow me. If you have not followed me on TikTok and you have not followed me here, subscribe right now, because I'm going to be going live. I'm going to be teaching you all those things, how to interpret them, options and futures, because that's the most important thing. How to trade Nasdaq, how to trade the stocks market. If you actually master those things, even if you hit the stop loss, that's how I'm saying, you already know. These things gives you confidence. When you actually analyze everything, you put everything, you are really confused, and then you start worrying. The reason so many people are worried where the market is moving, whether they hit the stop loss, or because you don't have enough confidence to, in the market, and you cannot give it the market to move, because you are doubting your analysis, you are doubting whether the market is moving up, because you just analyzed these candles here, and they can actually sometimes lie to you. So that is a problem. That is a problem. So is this going to really move into 4,500? Highly likely we're going to move to 4,500. We are going to move to 4,500. So once we get to this zone here, there's likelihood the market is going to touch this area here, and then you can switch to for 15-minute time frame around those areas, 15-minute time frame, and then we're going to see how the candles are going to behave. And then we can place an order around those areas there. And then the stop loss, of course, I'm going to put it like this area here. Number one, I'm going to put the stop loss slightly above or slightly below where we have high volume, and this volume is from buy orders that we are receiving, because I know if I place that one, there are so many people are buying at that zone, so unlikely the market to continue moving down. If you buy, remember one thing, and remember these rules that I'm teaching you here. If you place the stop loss where there is the low volume nodes, the market inaenda kupita now. The market, like the candle is going to, is going to pass there like a rocket. Yeah, just like a rocket. Before you cannot even do anything, because the market is actually going to boom, and then you're stopped. All your money is really gone. And if you have not placed the stop loss, of course, whether that is your liquidation zone, then of course you're going to wipe your account out. So when you're placing the stop loss, be smart enough. Don't just, and if you realize the volume where at least where safe, where at least a place where you can place a stop loss is far away, a safest place, then of course adjust your entries. You can start with the loss sizes all the way, so that at least you can minimize those kind of risk that you are getting. The market is at 45.12. Maybe this is the area that you're going to have. This is actually going to be a luck, because I know if you're going to have this entry, I'm going to be in for this. I'm absolutely going to be in for this. I'm going to be in for this. I have a small account here, and I'm going to be using this. It's a Kenya shillings account. Maybe we can have around 10 to 15k today out of that entry. So I hope you're going to move down, and let's just have something nice here. Let's have something amazing. It's just the same thing. Let's see volume wise what we have. Keep observing that. I needed to switch. Okay, let me check something else. $45 is going to be our zone. Now just mark it. I've now marked it. 45. So once we touch 45, around this area is really going to be amazing. Scaling in, you can actually scale in. You buy from that area. You can just buy. What is scaling in means is that you can actually start buying kidogo too as the market moves up, so you can still buy. So let me see on. I want to see on this. See. Trying to move up, but don't worry. Any time, any moment might be touching also. Finally, remember, this is just an introduction that we're really doing, and we are going to be having an amazing lessons here. So don't miss out. Every single day, 12 noon, we're going to be here. The prices for futures and me are different. So maybe around 45.05, that is what we're going to have. So in case this, let me just give you the options on what is going to happen in this market. Around if it touches 20 and moves above 20, then for maybe the market is going to continue moving up, but I don't think it's going to proceed above 20. Right now it's 45.15. I don't think it's good to move past that. So just check 45.16. It's not going to move past 20. Seventeen, 18. It's going to start from there. I should put this up so that you can see. Right around this area here, we cannot exceed that. This is 20. This is 20. Yeah, this is 20. Maybe a maximum of 21. I don't expect higher than less, more than that. Yo, so that's the area that I'm expecting this market to buy from. Make sure that at least you mark those areas so well, so that when at least we touch those areas, at least you're at least ready. At least you scale in. We are using small account, so we are just doing an introduction of this. Remember, it's really going to be amazing for the next month, and also we are starting right now because of course once we hit June right there, then we still be in a very big momentum. So I don't expect it above that touch. That is the highest I expect this market to move to. Right, so after that, of course, I'll be expecting another candle to touch maybe all the way to 45, to almost around 45, to almost around 45. I'm waiting for that candle. I'm just waiting for that. Once we get that candle actually moving down, just like that, then I think we'll be done with this video, because now to be now your turn to wait for these prices and find a sniper entry at those level, right? So that is what you're going to do. I'm just waiting for this candle to just remember we saying this area here, we are waiting to wait for this candle to just come down. I'm just entering this position right here. I'm actually in, but for small sell all the way from this area here, just downside all the way down. So I'm just waiting for a small movement, that one. So it's not that big deal. That's a small move right there. And once we get that one, at least you see what we have, a small risk right there. Yeah, so I'm just waiting to see this market, this candle. If this candle is going to move all the way down, then at least we'll be done with this, and we just going to call it a day, and then we just meet again. Yeah, see, I see the market trying to move. I see, I'm just waiting to see what is going to unfold here. Yes, who is this? Hello traders, that is Petro, I know you. Past foreign exchange, I see you. How are you doing? How are you doing? So there is what the market is doing. That is not actually our forecast here, but I'm waiting for that candle to drop. I'm waiting for a drop of this candle here, and if we just hit at least even 12, then it means of course we are going to hit this. But I think we are done. I sent this area here, and I don't think whether we are going to move past that. I don't think whether we are going to move past that. So I'm just waiting to see this market moving below 10. I'm waiting to see this market moving below 10. If you're going to get that, then it's going to be very interesting. Then of course things are really going to be interesting. Things are really going to be interesting there. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Maybe the next candle that is just going to be opening here. Let's see. This 12:45, 15-minute gives us to yeah, gives this to 1. So 5 minutes that candle is going to be closing out. Then we're just going to have another one that is going to be opening. Then that is going to be amazing. So let's just wait and see. If that's going to be like just that one, then of course I'm going to be leaving out you with that one, because already we just saying that. So you see the position that is running. Okay. This is anger pressure, because if the market is really going to move past this, if you're going to move past let's see, past this 27, it will be another story. It will be another story. But if the market is really going to move below 10, it's really going to move to our area that we are really interested in. It means it's going to move to the area that we are really interested in, and I think that is going to be amazing. We are still waiting to see how the market is going to be reacting there. That candle, I'm expecting it to come all the way down here. Our key interest is 4,500, 44.98. That is the most interesting area that we're interested in, and that's what I'm talking about. The market has to really come down. So whether this market is really going to be coming down from this area here, this is not our entry. This is not our entry. I'm just waiting for this prices to come down, and that is what we are waiting. So if you're going to move past 27, I think things might have changed, and that is what we need to be careful about. That one, that's why we need to be careful about those areas. So let's see now if we're going to move back. Let's see what we have. I think we're still going to move down, because at the end of the day we need to hit 4,500, around those areas. 4,500. If you're going to move to 27, I think we're going to have something different. That is what I said. If we hit that 27, we have something different. Let me still wait and see. This is the area. Make sure that you just mark it. We need to come to this area here. We need to come to 4,500. So we need to come to this area here. We need to come to this zone here. So the other candle has just opened. It's 1 p.m. Let's see. Is it really going to continue moving up? Because it's crazy. I'm waiting to see how this market unfolds, and then of course I'll be switching off this live, so that you can see you again tomorrow. This was just an introduction that we have just been doing here. So I just want to see how the market is going to unfold right there. Are we going to hit 27 really? I'm so much interested to see how things unfold after that. 4,000. I mean, the price below 45.10, market has to move below 45.10, and then our entry is located here. Our entry is located here, and then we'll be focusing 46.50 for swing trading. That is what we send. Remember that. That is what we send. So make sure that you really check on that. I'm not going to end this live until we get what I'm waiting to see. Are we going to move to the, I'm not saying it's supposed to move here, must, but my expectations is this market to move all the way to 4,500. But in case we hit more than, let's say, almost around 30, then the story is really going to be different, because now I'm going to tell you now, let's focus on other things, because the market might be changing. So that is what I really want to understand, like how this market is moving. But in case now we move slightly below, let's say above these prices, which is actually going to be below 45.10, then of course it's going to validate our entry here, which means that now you should be prepared to enter anytime, because that is what the market is going to be doing. So just waiting to see the price unfolding, the market unfolding, because we are almost there. But once we get that one, then of course I'm going to be closing this and just calling it a day until tomorrow. That is what we're going to say, right? But let's just wait and just give it a small time. Kidogo tu, let's kidogo tu, be patient, kidogo tu, ngojea tu kidogo. That's a problem that so many people have, patience, when it comes to this market, giving it time to come. Sometimes unaweza ona hiyo candle ikimove hivyo uanze kusema what, imeenda hivyo, but you just need to wait, you know. Na wapaswa kungoja either things, as long you know your area. My interest is 45, 02, 01, 44, 98. That is my interest area. So I just need to wait and see how the market is really going to unfold. If you're going to maybe take risk by selling all the way from 45.20, that is the risk entry. That is the risky entry. That is what I'm saying, right? Yeah, but the safest one is actually buying as the market is going to approach those areas. You plan and good entry around those areas. So that is what we're going to do here. Patience. Although I just place a small sell here, but you see your issue. That's just a small loss size. Let's see how the market is going to unfold on these areas, and I know it's going to be interesting. Let's see. Meanwhile, you can keep the questions coming. You see the comment section, I see the chat, so you can keep the questions coming. I can see them here, and I also can see them on my phone. So keep the questions. Kids, maybe you have a question that I may answer now, or maybe it's possible before the market comes to that area, before I close this live until tomorrow. And don't miss tomorrow live that you're going to have. we didn't going to move past 27 because 27 now is going to be something else, This pattern should take us to this place. This is more pattern here, 15-minute time frame. This should take us to this place. This is supposed to take us to this zone that we have here. That's why I'm talking about this area here. What is this? This is POC. This is POC. 29 that. I'm wondering, are we not going to 45? I'm still waiting for 4,500. That was the POC. So many times the POC normally act at the magnet. For this market, like the market can just be pulled all the way. The POC 4,500. 4,500. $4,500. Where are you? So tomorrow is holiday. So those who will not be doing anything, make sure that at least you join us. At least we learn something here. We need to prioritize learning. The market actually might be slow. I think this holiday might actually be global, so and all these things. So many banks and a lot of things just closed on 28th. This is 28th Thursday, on the 27th tomorrow. So make sure at least you are here. So this we learn 1, 2, 3 deep things. We have not really checked a lot of things here, but I'm pretty sure the market actually might be moving to 4,500. We need to check more things that need to be that normally act as what do we call it? We need more confluence. You need to learn more about the confluence so that at least you'll be getting this more and more. I don't know why it's moving up and actually we are supposed to be moving to 4,500 so that we can take our entry. If someone and taken an entry, maybe let's say around this, that was actually hardly, which is around 45.11. But at least this 45, either 90, 44, 98, 4,500 is actually going to be it. Like it's going to be the best entry that you can really have on the bond. And that is what we are saying around this area here. That is what you're going to see this real market doing. But since still we are on this structure here on how the market is still doing, so although the market has broken this area here, I did not expect this market to move past this, but still we actually in this corner here, like, you know, we are still in this trend that you can see happening in this market, and that's why I still give it until maybe, you know, until we break what we call now the structure, this market moving up like this, and probably we break the market start moving to 40s, 45, 40. If you are really going to move that, then it's really going to be crazy, because the area of target is absolutely going to be 45. What was it? 40? Yes, 45, 50s. But our best entry was actually supposed to be all the way down here. But for this, we are focusing on 40s here. So unless this market is actually going to be moving that early, if we break this one, look at that structure here. If we break that one, then of course it's going to violate many rules that we're really going to be focusing on at this area here. So I'm still waiting to see how these things unfold right here, or our area becomes invalid. So our entry, sometimes our entry can become invalid. That is what you're supposed to know. If the market just violates some of the rules that you have set, the area can actually become invalid. So in case maybe we break these ones and the market start moving towards 40s, that area is not going to be our interest anymore. But I'm still expecting the fall all the way down here. I'm still expecting a fall all the way to below 45.10. That is the area, and there is on so many people. That's actually going to be an absolutely good area formed by support and like institutional interest. So if you have not followed me, make sure that you do that, subscribe, and let's see a few minutes, and then we're going to be closing this down because of time. I was not prepared for live stream today, but at least now that is what we're doing. But those are things I still did. Well, I see things are really changing here. I see things are really changing. I really see these are really changing. And if you're going to move past that, I think it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Right from there, it's going to be change of things. Mambo inaenda kubadilika sasa. Tell me why is really moving like that. We are waiting for 4503 and it's not really coming up. So maybe from that, the next candle that is opening, let's see this candle closing here. 1330 right now is 32, just opened right now. That is a candle that is supposed to take us down, and I don't know whether it's going to keep moving up, because if that candle is going to print a very big green candle of blue candle right all the way up, it's going to bring something else different. So that is I'm not going to say that our area is going to be invalid, but of course that's a mixed reaction that you're going to be getting there, and maybe another setup to take us all the way down. Yeah, yes, that's supposed to be taking us down now, because I think we are done. I needed that entry of 45, but seems things are really going wrong here, but the day is not really over. So we see how the market is really going to react. 38, I don't expect the market to move above that. Yeah, so if we are going to test like that, I don't think that's going to be another pattern, a different one, and I don't want to change from that, maybe until tomorrow again. So I'm going to keep observing that because I see it's still taking time, a lot of time, and there's a lot of complications are really happening there. So at the end of it, but don't make sure if this market crosses past 50, past 40 something, let's say 45, then of course maybe our entry here is going to be coming something else, because at least our exit is 54. So we cannot really focus on the market to come down and then we exit at this level. Maybe we are going to find another one, and that is what probably we are really going to be doing in this market right there. That is what we might be focusing on this market right there. Yeah, so make sure that you follow me, subscribe, like, and tomorrow we resume again, but keep observing these areas. Still keep observing them to see how these things really are going to, what is really going to be happening in this market. Okay.
Ski.
Yes, is so this is what we have been waiting for, and you can see the market has really reversed from that area. So there is likelihood now for us to head to 4,500, and I think because I entered this position in different places, there is now likelihood that we might be hitting 4,500 any moment from now. 4,500, and once we are there, so allow me to let me take my phone. You can see how patience really works. So the market is still dropping. We are 19. So there's likelihood for this market to touch all the way down as we said. That is the level that we have been waiting for. Still dropping. You can see how still that worked. The first level for reversal was here. The next one was this place here where we drew this trend line, and if this market was actually to close above this, I think things would have changed completely. Yeah, but still I'm going to see whether we're going to touch this 45. So if you're going to touch 4,500, it is really going to be amazing, because that is the area that I'm focusing to have a long-term buy. I think there are so many challenges for this market to come to that level, which now I'm not going to wait now, and I'm going to just close it like that, because I really wanted to know like what is really going to be happening to this market. That was so much. I was so much interested to know like what is really going to happen. If this market is it going really to continue moving up without moving to 4,500? But right now, as we can see, right now it's not really bad. Maybe there's likelihood for us to touch that one, although the time now is gone. So you allow me now to close this at this juncture, and then I'll just meet you again tomorrow, but make sure that you let me put alert. So this is what I normally do. I'm going to click here. I create an alert as 05 or maybe 10, because that is the area I'm focusing on. 4506. Let me put 10 so that I can have enough time to observe as the market drops. So I'm going to put 4510 as an alert. This is my conditions for my alert crossing. The custom date 25th but June, so that is 1 month of, because if I just put it to close, it's not going to accept. The next thing is to this notification, it's going to send me an email, so in case maybe my PC and maybe I will have closed everything, or maybe I'll not be around. So that is what I'm going to do. Now the next thing I'm going to do as well is the conditions. You can set the conditions now because mine is already set, and you can see this line here. Once it crosses this line here, I'll be alert, and then the market now I'll be ready to either buy or sell from that market. So be really amazing. Look at that. Eish. 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 Seems that we're moving. Ah. Jesus. My alert is already on. We are waiting for that. I think the market has already touched our line here, which is 07. And you can see alerts here. This is already here. This means the market has already. I was about to close this live. So let's see what we have. I'm going to. Oh. Jesus. Jesus. Ah. Come on. Ah. Oh my God. I missed the opportunity here. Look at that. 07. I wanted to buy from this place here. Just look at that. Oh my goodness. Ah. Oh. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see whether we're going to move back again. 45 45 until my alert was, hey, Jesus, hey. I never thought it would be that fast. I never thought it's going to be that fast for it to touch this area here, because I wanted to have a scaling in from here all the way to this place. Actually, I could have actually garnered this money all the way to the top here, but let's wait and see. I don't know whether it's really going to come back again, but because I just missed that one, it's a regret that I'm going to keep, because I don't know what, and I don't like pending orders. Don't really like pending orders. So this is the area that we are waiting to see, and that's how the market has just been moving. And if you look at this trend line that we tried here, seems that the market just respected that. And look at that. Simple. It's really simple. We introduce this, the market respected this, and this one, and also this one. So it's really serious here. But I'm not really interested in this. This was just to give us a sniper entry. This one. My interest lies at 4,500. This is 4,500. This is where my interest lies. And if you you did not watch us as we are analyzing this, then you can actually go back to the beginning of this video. Then you are going to understand why we are buying from 4,500, because of so many reasons that we have. We have been waiting for this market to come all the way here. Actually, from this place here, it just went all the way here, and you can see how it's really performing here. It's crazy. Sometimes you may feel like you're losing other opportunity. That is the alert now. It is crossing, I think, crossing 10. Did I place 10 really? So I'm almost ready to enter this market at 45.03, and I can see how fast is really moving. It's very fast, very fast. So you can scale in between 45.03, 45, 44.98. Those are the areas that I'm going to be focusing on for buy opportunity, because that is the area that we've been waiting for. Yeah, yes. Oh my Lord. What? Now you see what normally happens when we have low volume nodes. I think right now you should be understanding why some of areas we are not really interested in some of the regions, because of how the market can actually move quickly, and how easy the market can actually touch your stop loss very quickly, very quick. 45.09. 8. Yeah, because of spreads and all that, I think the prices are different. So I don't know why, but already I said the market is going to move below 10, and we already moved 10. We already achieved that is we already got 45.06. I think we got 45.06. That is what the market has really achieved. It was very close to ours, but I'm still waiting to see whether we are going to touch 05, 48, all the way to 44.98. I am. So once we are there, I think things are really going to be great. I'm going to try and scale around those areas. Yeah, it seems that the market, you can actually be very quick thinking that the market has just left you, and I'm going to be patient really. If the market is really going to reverse from that, then I don't really care. But anytime we are going to move below 0, let's say 08, 07, I'm going to have at least one entry as I scale in. Small one, as we're just going to be moving like this. Wow. Those who joined the morning, they know what we are talking about. Midday is almost now 2 hours since I've been observing this market, and unfortunately now I'm going to be leaving you at this juncture so that you can observe those areas. Make sure that you plan your entries so well. Don't just be usiende tu kuingia ovyo ovyo. Make sure that at least you have good plan across these areas. All right, and then I'll see you again later. I will see you again tomorrow noon. That is start of noon. I'll see you again tomorrow noon. When this market comes to this area here, remember we are targeting here. We are targeting 45.54. So that is really going to be a heavy one. That is going to be $54 move. That is going to be $54 move. So we are at 08. We are at 08, and the market is at 08. So anytime I'm thinking of moving out, I think something is happening to the market. Why are you wanting to make active? So let's see what the market is going to be doing. 07, and I really want to know whether it's going to be quick. I'm closing this. What's happening? Yeah, iko pale ndio hiyo. Ishaguza hiyo place sasa. Ishaguza hiyo place 083. Ishaguza hiyo place. Touch. Market imeguza your place, and you can see how it attached and really moved up. You can see that. Can you see that? Can you see that really? Can you see that? Do you see that? Imeguza your place and then it is back. So that means if you entered around that area right now, you should be reflecting. That is actually 04, but you can see our position is 4503.9. So that is almost 05 entry. I have one entry of 05. I'm that quick, by the way. Niliacha kwanza. So that is one 05. So all the way to 48.98. I'm going to squeeze them. I'm going actually to arrange them so that we can have those different entries in those areas. Okay. Can you hear the bell? It's telling me that is 48.10 is the entry. So that's how normally it alarms me anytime, and it's really very shocking because once I hear that ringtone, I normally rush very quick. The phone, you can actually pick the phone, because if you're going to do the laptop, you're going to receive delay. So that is what we have, and yeah, the market has already touched the zone that you have been waiting for. So that is really amazing. Look at that. Even if you have been selling from this area here, another sell that you are focusing around this area, you can see the market is already down. I don't know whether maybe market is really going to move again here. Maybe it's going to move, but this round This possibility is going to keep moving up now. There's probability that you're going to move up. So that's why I just decided, let me just have at least one entry, because the market can fail to come back. So at least niko na kitu ya kushikilia, but don't worry with that. Don't worry, because some people normally feel worried and left behind. So don't worry, you're still on. Yeah, everything is still in order. So we are there. So in case the market comes back to 44,500, you can still buy, but I don't think we are going to go back again. Yeah, so if the market continues moving up, then I think it has already touched the goals that we have been waiting for. This is the area. If this market could not touch this area today, I don't think so. I could actually have questioned so many things, because I saw the market coming to that place. So again, tomorrow we are going to do the same. We're going to find at least entry, but this time we can check currencies, gold, and also stock indices. Kina Nasdaq, we'll be checking them. So make sure that you join us, and make sure that you subscribe and turn on notification bell. You'll be notified anytime I'm live. Anytime I'm here, you'll be notified very quickly. The YouTube is going to notify you. Maybe sometimes you may forget, but you just need to subscribe, and make sure that you follow me on TikTok as well. It's really going to help. And make sure that you comment on my videos. The market is really up. Rende bought from this market, as I said, from this region. We have been waiting for this from morning hours. So if you have entered from this, I know you're already in profit, massive profit right now, as I can see. Yeah, this is good money. This is good money already, the one I can see here. So if your entry was actually 0507, you can see $8 up, $7 up. That is crazy, right? Yeah, but this is sniper entry. Around this area, that's a sniper entry, and you can see that is the reason we normally have a region here. This is a region, this region here. So sniper, boom. At least now we have generated some dollars. So if you just want to keep owning, we are going to keep this all the way. But one thing I want you to learn as I went this up, patience is the key. I just we waited for this market to come to this live, and that is it. You just have to be patient. Patience is the key. Sometimes you don't need to be rushing to things. If the market does not obey your strategy, maybe tomorrow there is another day. This market would actually peaked and moved all the way up. I couldn't damage as long we did not enter that market. Tomorrow we can analyze this market, and if it fails to fill our order. So what are we going to do? Are we going to cry? Are we going to chase the market? No, we wait for another day. So that is one thing that I really want you to learn today, and keep that in bank. All right, so I'll see you again tomorrow. Make sure that you follow me, and if in case you have any question, use my numbers down there below. And for those who are using FX Pesa, keep using the platform. Is really nice. And those who are just using that, make sure that in case you deposit $100 and above, you get a free mentorship from my side. All those who trend using that one, because hii dunia mambo ni mingi. So that is what I'm going to offer. So I'll see you again. Samuel, that is incredible as always. Yes, that's amazing. Yeah. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day ahead.